Well, hey, this is Steve Moreland again with the Success Publishing Podcast. And as we always do, we're always introducing and getting a chance to talk to amazing authors from around the world. And we have an absolutely incredible guest today. Her name is Tonika Bruce. I'm going to give her a chance to introduce herself and to talk about her book and a little bit about her life. It's absolutely amazing. And I've really had an incredible time getting a chance to know Tonika, and over the time, become friends, and just to see her successes and just ongoing. She's got to be, I would say, one of the hardest working people. And I'm a hardworking guy, but I'm constantly seeing all of her ongoing education process. And I think you just told me you got accepted into an MBA program. I'm sitting there going, I got the same 24 hours a day. And if you got more from God, then I want to get in that line because I could use a few more hours. So Tanika, I'm gonna let you introduce yourself and tell us about how you're doing this awesome life.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that introduction. You're very kind, and I think I get a little bit of that energy and spark from you. So you cannot allow me to take all the credit. But my name is Tonika Bruce. A lot of people refer to me as Coach Bruce, and I live in the Tampa Bay area. In fact, I'm in my home office right now in Tampa. I'm a best-selling author and a networker and entrepreneur, really by nature. But my purpose and passion every day, all day, is just simply all things leadership and just helping others. And I know that my goals for anything that I do pretty much center around just years of influencing and motivating and challenging other people to pursue their best and pursue excellence and find their purpose and their passions and whatever it is that they're doing.
Right.
And that is what makes me who I am. I'm happiest probably when I'm building something. If it's a person or a business, that's Tanika.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, well, give us a little bit first before we jump in and talk about the book and kind of get into some details there. I know that the book is about leadership and finding the right mentor and making sure you don't end up with the wrong mentoring. But kind of let's back up a little bit and tell us how you became a coach and how all that kind of built up. So, give us a little backstory.
Well, I can't take any credit for that. Being a coach, I think, just becomes a part of who I am, or became who I am now, because it's just the leadership part, wanting to help others.
Mhm.
I had a very successful career as a basketball coach.
Mhm.
And even as young as I can remember, 6 and 7, just being the leader. I mean, I actually got in trouble in second grade for the whole class was paying attention to me instead of the teacher, and I was teaching them something. A teacher called my mom and said, "Hey, you got to come and get this girl," and
Great.
they're listening to her and not me. But
Right.
I think that that is just something that God has really blessed me with, just that ability to lead others. And so from basketball coaching to always being the person that people call, "Hey, can you help me with my resume? Hey, can you help me with this or that?" Just really enjoying seeing others be successful and be their best is really what makes me who I am. It just, I thrive on that.
Great, great. So I want to transition, I guess, from being coach and being a leader and helping all of those individuals become their better version, because I think
Okay.
that's also going to be part of what you were expressing in your book. So kind of give me a little bit about, there's a message there and then there's a story. So let's just kind of start off and kind of unbox the message. What is that thing that's your driver that allowed you all the way back to second grade? It sounds like that's kind of your anchor point of you fearlessly standing up or explaining or talking to other people, when I would probably say at least 99% of the rest of the class was freaking out going, I don't ever want to talk in front of anybody. And you were just doing it and you were comfortable. How did you get there?
I think that that is just something there. It's in me. I can't, again, I don't like taking credit for a lot of these things because it's just who I am.
Mhm.
And, growing up and knowing my grandfather was the head and first Black maitre d' and cook at a restaurant when there was a time of segregation. And my
Sure.
grandmother, sold, she was in the network marketing, and she ran around the whole community. Even now, that community, oh, you're Shirley's granddaughter, and just those things. And then seeing my mom, which is a nurse also,
Mhm.
she would do what she needed to do, would work 2 and 3 shifts if she needed to. And then my dad, I mean, even still now, he can pretty much sell me on something that I already have. So
Right, right.
I think just that nature of wanting to help people and be around people. And
Sure.
I know it's cliche for people to say, your passion is helping others, but and I think that even being a nurse, I'm a registered nurse, and
Sure.
that advocacy piece really just came naturally
Yeah.
because that's what motivates me. It's just also to just there's just this inner drive to just be the very best at
Mhm.
everything that I do, so that way I can help others do the same thing.
Yeah. And I noticed that that actually came, there was someone that actually wrote a testimonial in the beginning of your book. And that was one of the things, I think it's, let's see, I think it came from both Molly and Dorian, both. They were talking about that same thing, that you're an incredible leader, but you're a servant first.
Mhm.
And that combination is unique, and it bubbles, from you. You're like effervescent. It just is something that you have this great smile, and you can tell that you love to help. And in our conversations, we've worked on a lot of different things. And I love the other thing about you is just your sincerity, your authenticity, and your honesty. So you're not afraid to say, I don't know,
Mhm.
but I'll find out.
Right, right.
And that's so key. So when you how does being a coach and also being a nurse, where you are, taking care of people and being in situations where you have to, um in my ideas, I go through my mind, if I had to have so much knowledge about anatomy and how to take care of people, what not to give them and how to hurt them, I would freak out because I would be stressed out all the time. So how do you do that?
it, there's no science behind it, Steve. The thing is that my passion is truly developing people, and it didn't matter if I was coaching on the basketball court or helping patients in the hospital, or right now with coaching people to be in their entrepreneur journey. It's
Sure.
no different. I mean, that is just what I just thrive on. And it's
Okay.
no different than what you do each and every day. I mean, I got to give you kudos as well, because each and every day, I mean, you're supporting, authors through their journey. And that is just, it's amazing because, you're to go and find and maybe even give us resources to better ourselves and to teach us, not just even on the entrepreneur side or the authorship side, but just as people. And it's like, hey, take a listen to this, or let me just,
Right.
show you this process or that,
Mhm.
and think about it. How can you become the best person that you can be? I mean, you just there's that's just, it doesn't matter about the money, it doesn't matter about the position, but it's just like that saying, even Zig Ziglar, if you help enough people along the way, you'll automatically get what you want in return. And that is so true, because even if it doesn't come in the form of a tangible thing, you cannot replace that. That is what, again, like you say, that dash in between when you're here and when you leave, that's the ultimate thing. That's what makes me smile and get up every day. I mean, I have to make myself go to sleep.
Right, right. I know what you mean. Um, and I think what's happened to me more as I'm getting a little older now. I hate to even admit that, but it feels like when I love doing like what you do. You love being a servant. You love finding those resources. I love using social media, and obviously I get an opportunity to work with such amazing authors from all over the world like yourself. And so yeah, everything I'm looking, or everything I'm finding, I'm searching constantly. It's like in the background of my mind, I'm always sitting here going, how can one of my authors, how can 10 of them, or how can this benefit all of them? How can this next insight help them with that eureka? I love to
Mhm,
see that, because you
mhm.
see that little the electrifying, the lightning, the bulb just popped on and they went. As soon as that happens, you're talking about breakthrough.
Mhm.
whatever was there that was that glass ceiling, all of a sudden you just crashed it. And that means
Right,
that that person now is limitless, because
right.
what was always our boundary. And I've never coached at your level. I've done some other types of fitness coaching, kind of extreme fitness stuff. And to see someone that you've been coaching and watching them struggle and struggle, and usually the limitation is here in their mind. And then all of a sudden to be there with them side by side, and all of a sudden watch the breakthrough happen.
Right, right,
Wow, how rewarding is that, right?
right, right. And not even somebody that's struggling, but I mean, on the flip side of it, even the people that are at the height of their career or to working with the best of the best, and being able to contribute something that has given and made a lasting impact on their lives. I mean,
Sure.
you get to work with the best. I mean, don't be modest over there on your own, but you get to work, and then you still find ways to not only find things that will help, but find things that challenge us in so many ways. And I mean,
Right.
I couldn't I mean, I've been so blessed by our relationship and with Matt and with Bryson. I'm always confessing my love for Bryson. And
Great.
and you guys have become more than a family. And it's been amazing. It's this journey is this journey every day. I think it was Matt when he said, when you're creating your story, think about where you want pauses. And that's so powerful because during those pauses are moments where you can really think back and reflect. I mean, you can look at that so many ways, but when you reflect on the things that really matter, it's the relationships that you build.
Right.
And
Mhm.
it's just that's again, without even going into the book. I mean, you develop this sense of family and mentors
Mhm.
all in one, and that's what I really try to be for others.
Absolutely. So when we talk about your story, I was looking back on your press release, and you made it out there on Fox and NBC, CBS,
Yeah.
a lot of the big news media networks. Your book came out, I want to say, about a year ago. Am I right?
Actually, it's been about almost end of May.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
So I noticed when I was looking back into the press release when you went out that there was something cautionary, that you were talking about: be aware of who your mentors are, who are the individuals that are influencing you, who are you listening to.
Mhm.
So tell me, unpack that story for us. Where did that come from? Because it sounds like there's a personal story.
Right. Well, and I have so many stories.
Mhm.
The simple thing is this, I had met a gentleman so many years ago, and he says, there's only two things that are important in life, and that's who you're going to marry and where you're going to go to school.
Okay.
Now, maybe that person was a college coach trying to get me to go to his school, his university. But if you think of that from the perspective of those are, it's the foundation of the people you will meet,
Yeah.
and then on the flip side, the person that will support you the most regardless, and who you'll be with the rest of your life. And in turn, also evolves into the children that you'll produce, if that's the case. That is ultimately the foundation and the rest of your life, and what you do with it, it had to do with legacy.
Yeah.
So when you are, and my original chapter, I don't know if you remember, was going to be choose your parents carefully. And from this deal, actually going to come out with that book next year, choose your parents carefully. So I appreciate that from this platform. But um, if you think about it from this perspective, whether you're fortunate enough to have parents or not, or friends or not, the
Right.
people that you choose to influence you on the things that you do. I mean, think about it. If you're in a bad relationship, they may influence or cause you to regress on the goals that you want to pursue.
Sure.
Or same thing, the people that are constantly feeding information into your mind,
Mhm.
as simple as listening to people encouraging you, motivating you. And sometimes it just takes someone just like you to believe in you, or somebody that you see each and every day. So you have to be careful of who you're allowing to guide your thoughts and to see, because you run into so many people every day. You don't know what's designed for you that's maybe negative, and you need people that can cheer you on, that can share with you the obstacles and the stumbling blocks that they might have gone through.
Sure.
And
Yeah.
also to just say, you know what, keep going. It's rough, but keep going, just hang in there. And when you do that, man, you find someone that can really in this journey. And then
Sure.
ultimately, that's what makes me so, so grateful for this opportunity and becoming a best-selling author. It's
Yeah.
opened up doors, and not just that, but it's because it fed so much into me.
Yeah.
It brought so much into my mind in terms of a world of possibilities. And had that not been the case, maybe had I gone through another publishing company, I definitely wouldn't be here today, you
Sure.
know, and I wouldn't be here and using the platforms. So you do have to be careful of the people. You have to be very strategic, because just like I spoke about a patient that talked about and just said, you know, called me Dr. Bruce. And I'm like, what is this lady talking about? And she was seeing, she's a visionary, and basically saying that. And what do you know, I'm in school for my doctoral degree right now at this moment. I thought that lady was nuts.
Right.
And same thing for Dr. Holly Madison, one of my mentors through school now. I'm like, hey, I already did a master's degree, I'm not doing a doctoral. And
Right.
she made a penny bet, and she knew that because I'm super competitive, I didn't care if it was a penny, that might have been like $1 million.
Right.
I just needed to prove her wrong. And and so
Yep.
what do you know? I'm taking that challenge. I am gonna whoop her butt and get my penny once I'm done with the
Right.
program.
It, I love it because it's all about the principle. It's not about necessarily what was the dollar or the
Right.
like the monetary. It's just the principle. So,
It's just the principle. It really is. But you know, it's and one of my favorite quotes I look at is Bo Sanchez, and it's so simple. It's like getting a mentor is a shortcut to success.
mm,
And and really, enough said.
yeah,
You cannot get anywhere in this journey of anything by yourself.
yeah,
You need a mentor, and that's why it felt very important to
sure.
share that.
Yeah. Well, I loved, like I said, getting a chance to your perspective. You're very articulate. The way you think and the way you understand. You know, I understand you're getting that doctoral right now. You should also have one in philosophy because to be a coach and to drive those people to make them do. I don't know. I hated my coach and loved him at the same time. I hated my coach starting on Monday morning, or it was Monday afternoon when we hit the court, did all the ball drills, and obviously suicides was the last part of the game. I would rather do laps for hours than to run
Really?
suicides. Oh, I hated suicides. I hated them. Different people call them different names, but you know what I'm talking about, to the hash mark, half court, other hash
Yep,
mark.
yep.
Ah,
Suicides, yeah, yeah.
suicides. Yeah, we used to do those forever. And yet, when we got to you know, the Friday night game, we got to, you know, whatever the big game was, we were meeting our challenger that was our nemesis,
Mm-hmm.
and being able to see, you know, a full court press, seeing us, you know, cut the lines and, you know, intercept and work the ball correctly. There was just something there, you know, and he'd be standing over the sideline. Obviously, he was like some of the coaches. He wanted to wear whatever he wore was the most obnoxious outfit he could wear and still wear a suit. We tried to burn because our team's colors were orange and brown, and he actually had an orange suit, literally. And we tried to get a hold of it because we were going to light it on fire and, you know, burn it, and we couldn't. But anyway, it was just a part of the game. You know, when we're holding the trophy, we went through the tournament, we played however many games, and we're exhausted. But then to see, you know, that confidence there that he led us, and so I see that with you, of being able to be articulate, but also being so well read and well versed that you give the right mentoring, you give the right influence and inspiration at that right moment. That's a talent.
I don't know if my former players would say that. They'd say we were prepared, but I don't know if they thought I was inspiration or not. But I didn't do the suicide running, but I had 3 a.m. workouts, and that's a mental test, a toughness, a lot of that stuff you talk about in Rubicon. And
Right.
but I will say that having those mentors were so powerful. And what is again rewarding is the fact that most of those players now call me, and their parents now, and it's like, oh my gosh, this kid drove me nuts. I wanted to send you home every day, and now you're this beautiful parent. And
Yes.
that's a part of that reward. And people are calling me every day still, Coach Bruce, Coach Bruce. And I'm like, they hated my guts probably then, but they
Yes.
knew that we were going to be ready, and they knew that I had a genuine concern for their success. And that's, you can't ask for it. There's nothing else that I can ask for in this life. It's amazing.
Yeah. Well, I could see, not only were you an awesome coach, but you're continuing to coach others, whether it's entrepreneurial or in through the nursing environment, everything you do. I just see that being carried forward in all parts of your life. So I know you're super busy. I hope you didn't get up at 3 a.m. this morning, but if you told me you did, I wouldn't be amazed, because I can see that you have to pull some of that stuff in order to get everything done in the day that I see you're doing. So
I slept until 4 today.
Right. That sounds right. Outstanding. Well, again, really great to get a chance to jump in here, spend some time, and understand a little more about why you are absolutely awesome. And I know you're continuing to affect people's lives. And thank you for being part of my life.
I appreciate that. Thank you. And I'm trying not to get kicked out. I'm like, hey, I need to do some more books, which again, I am, fortunate and blessed to,
Sure.
author a couple others. I'm excited. I'm so very grateful for just your mentorship. If no one's ever told you, I mean, it's just, and again, just teaching us just the mental part of it, and about consistency,
Mhm.
and just regardless of when you're down. I mean, that there's so many things. Every time I think about the quote, and I'm a quote person, I love it. I always think about you. I need to get your headshot and coin the quote after you.
Uh-huh.
It's just saying adversity reveals true character. And that's something that had in my brain for, I don't know, 20 years.
Yeah.
And I just think about you every single time, and just how I remember the first time, just, hey, are you able to do these things?
Right.
Can you do and be as great as you can be? And just seeing
Right.
that to fruition. I really appreciate what you've done, and taking the time out, because we know you don't have to do that. You don't have to spend the time to, I'm sure you have many other things to do than interview me. I mean, so
Well,
I appreciate that. I appreciate just your encouragement and support. That means a lot.
absolutely. And no, I enjoy doing this. And I think, like what you say, I learned from Dr. Frankel when I read his book, Man's Search for Meaning. And without going into all the details, the most important quote when you're talking about quotes is the idea of the therapy that he created after living and surviving 6 years in Nazi concentration camp during World War II, out being a psychologist. And one of the things that he was able to do is he turned a horrible experience into a real-time ability to understand what humans are capable of in the most dire straits. And he named his system logotherapy, logo after the Greek logos. And what he realized is the only thing that matters at the end of the day, when it's the worst possible environment, is how are you interpreting your world so that it is full of meaning. Logos, it means meaning. And so, like what you're talking about, everything that you do, the reason why you took, the penny bet is those are meaningful activities. Those are actions that are going to stress you. They're going to force you, they're going to push you. But what you do is you keep stepping up. And that's why I think you're doing an awesome job, and you continue to set the standard by being the leader. And that's what you're doing. Your demonstration of your character and what you believe. You don't just talk about it. You lead the way. That's awesome.
Yeah. Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Enjoyed having time with you again, and look forward to catching up with you again down the road and seeing all the other things, including you holding that the doctoral certificate that you've defended your thesis. That's going to happen sooner rather than later, I know.
Yeah, it definitely is. Well, good deal. Thank you so much, and much success for you and to our family. So thanks for having me.
You bet.